So I wanted to talk for a sec specifically about the stacked torso position that you'll hear me talk about a lot as we go. Stacked torso basically means that you are keeping your shoulders directly above your hips and you're keeping your spine in neutral, which will help keep your bigger muscle groups engaged. That's the simplistic view. In reality, it can feel a little bit confusing at first, which is why I wanted to do an entire video about it. So your biggest muscles in your body are all in your trunk, which is the part of your body that's left if you cut off your legs, cut off your arm, cut off your head. So it's the muscles in your back, it's your glutes, it's the muscles in your abs, or what we think of as the core, and your shoulders, your chest, those big central muscles. So to get our spines into neutral, most of us start with kind of a tilt back here from sitting a lot. So the first thing that we're going to do is you're going to stand up tall and kind of put your hand under your belly button and put one hand on your tailbone, and you're going to pull up on the area under your belly button and push down on your tailbone. And it'll kind of feel like you're doing a little hip thrust maybe. If you are the same generation as I am, then you might think of Wayne's World and Schwing. If you're younger than that, I apologize for the out-of-date reference. But you'll get then your hips fairly straight ahead, and your glutes will engage a little bit just to start with. So from there, holding that position that might bend your knees on its own, that's fine. Everything's connected, so moving one joint center will often move another joint center, but that should feel neutral. It shouldn't feel like you're then bending your knees. So keeping that lower body engagement, we'll move up to your ribs. And if you feel your rib bones here, it might feel like they're kind of up and forward a little bit. Like if you put the heels of your hands on them and your fingers point to where they would go, they might point a little bit in front of you. So without losing that tail tuck, right, keeping that tail tuck, we're then going to push our ribs down. So what that doesn't mean is that we put our shoulders forward and collapse down on ourselves. We're quite simply going to just turn the ribs down a little bit. That might mean our chest comes from here to here, but it shouldn't be a collapse. And so now what happens is we have a nice even S-curve down our spine. We probably feel a little more glute engagement, and it's pretty easy for us to engage our abs here and draw our navel in, which are going to be our primary positions and primary engagements for many of the movements that we're going to do. So you can do this on the ground, at which point it might feel like you are also pressing your low back into the ground. That's another cue that you'll hear me say a lot. You can use a wall to help you locate it if you need to. So you can, we can tuck the tail and then you'll feel your low back pressing there, and then use the ribs. You can use that as a prop if you need to. But we want to keep returning to this and making sure that we are actively stacking our torso, keeping our spine neutral, strong, and stable, and keeping our big muscle groups engaged as we go through our movements so that we are being as efficient and effective as possible. Over time, this is going to become second nature. For a while, we have to think about it and repeat it every time. So you'll hear me say it a lot because it's important. That's how we stack our torso. That's how we will create a good foundation for good movement. You try it, and then I'll see you in the rest of the videos.